5 things I wish I knew earlier in my marriage. 1, don't compare my marriage and my husband to other people. Listen, I was in my 20s when we first got married, and so I didn't really know who I was or what I really wanted. So I was listening a lot to my parents, what they said I should have and what I should want, and looking at what my friends was accomplishing. And the truth was, I didn't want any of those things. I didn't want a big house. I didn't want a particular name brand car. But we felt like we had to do it because, or at least I felt like we had to do it because it's what everyone said we should want and what we should be doing. And doing that, it just created for me a lot of like stress and anxiety because I was trying to hold on to things that I didn't want. What we wanted and what we eventually ended up doing, like 12 years into the marriage, was to move out of the country and see the world. I wish I would have had the courage to create the marriage I wanted in the beginning and not buy into what the world or society or my parents said marriage should have been. The second thing that I wish I knew when I got married was I wish I would have known that marriage isn't about happiness. Now, there was a part of me that understood that Andre wasn't going to be able to make me happy. I wasn't going to be able to make him happy. But we were focused on being happy. We would do what I would call happy check-ins. But the truth is, I wish I would have known that marriage was more about growing. Who are you growing into? Who's he growing into? And allowing that so that I wasn't so upset or caught up over little things, but recognizing that every opportunity of frustration, honestly, was an opportunity to grow. So that is really something I wish I would have known, that instead of fighting to be happy, we could have been focused on growing. The third thing I wish I would have known when we first got married was the importance of maintaining my individuality, like my friendships, my hobbies, my goals, the things that I love. Because one thing I do admire about my husband, but I didn't back then, was like he did that. Andre loved playing flag football. And to this day, like we're about to move to a new country, he's already found a flag football team. Um, but he is intentional about doing the things he loved. And earlier when I was younger, I was so wrapped up in him that I would get upset with him because you're leaving again, or my only hobbies was to go watch him play football. And listen, I was a whole woman before I met this man. So I encourage you, young in your marriage, make sure you continue to be the woman that you are or growing into, or get curious and learn new things. And it doesn't have to just be you and him. It's about having a community of people. That can be challenging, particularly the way we've lived, because we have lived abroad. And so many times we get places and we have to find our community. But give yourself grace during your finding time. But don't stop looking. Don't stop looking for other people to connect to and help be a part of your community and help you maintain your individuality early in the marriage. Fourth thing is, really and truly, that's saying when people say keep people out of your business, keep people out of your marriage, do that. Yes, we all need someone to talk to and vent to, but listen, make sure when you have a friend or a person that you're going to talk to about your marriage, make sure they're pro your husband. Meaning that when you're dogging your husband out, you need someone to cheer him on. Because here's the thing, I'm talking to the person who's married to a good husband or a good man, and maybe, just life happens. Things he does frustrate you, drives you crazy. He makes mistakes and you think the mistake is huge. But make sure you have someone in your circle, that the person you confide in, that they are pro your husband, that they don't sit beside you and go, yeah, girl, I always knew he was like that. I can understand your problem. Make sure that they are saying things when you're saying, he never cleans up. They're saying, yeah, but doesn't he keep your car clean? Girl, aren't you glad that he makes sure that he brings home his money? You need someone who is for your husband when you're against him. Because if you have a friend or the person you confide in, and you both are ganging up on your husband and he's not in the room, you're putting yourself in a horrible situation. And here's the thing, you're going to eventually forgive him, most likely, hopefully you will, but your friend won't. And then now you're going to have these feelings of, well, now they're judging you because you decided to stay in the marriage. And you should stay in your marriage. So I'm just telling you, make sure you pick a friend who's pro your husband. And then the last thing, I wish I would have known earlier in my marriage is know that marriage really is a God thing. It is not about you. It's not about your spouse. It's about who you're going to become in Christ, in God. And in order for him to do that, there are going to be hurts, pains, disappointments from your past that will come up in your marriage, that if you are aware that God is trying to heal those places, you're going to fight your spouse about the hurts and the pains that he's triggering inside of you when God is using those hurts and pains as an invitation. Those are things I really wish I would have known before I got married. I hope that helps you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at berrythoughtfullife.com.